Countries? We don't know. Okay. Okay, well, I just wanted to say a few words. I wanted to welcome. This is a fall retreat here at Serenity Ridge, Virginia, Ligmicha's main retreat center. And I wanted to welcome all the participants, all the practitioners around the world, our Sangha members, and all the friends. You all are welcome. Here we also behind we have all a wonderful crowd here. This retreat, fall retreat, and Tenzin Wangьял is here from Menri monastery. He's the head teacher of the Menri monastery, so he's been traveling in the US and in Europe, and he will be here this week, and next week he will be going in Mexico. And those who are in Mexico, so you know he's coming next Tuesday, and those who are in Europe, and he will be also coming to Europe, so you can check his schedules. So we're going to start this afternoon session with the practice. I will guide the practice, and then after the practice, and Tenzin Wangьял is going to explain the practice a little bit, and it's a continuation of wonderful teachings that we've been giving this morning. So we'll continue from there, and then we'll have in the end we'll have a little time for some questions and answers to everybody, particularly around the world, Sangha around the world. Okay. So we'll do the 9 breathing or purification. So those who don't know 9 breathing or purification, just imagine and feel the presence of 3 channels in the center of your body. A blue channel below the navel, goes straight up, opens in the crown. White channel at the right side, a red channel on the left side. These 2 side channels go up side by side and connected to 2 nostrils. So for a moment, feel the presence of 3 channels. We press our right ring finger and gently press our right nostril. Breathe in from left all the way down, and then press left nostril. Breathe out from the right. 3 times. Imagine all your anger and its related emotions, pain, confusion, blockages. Feel, release that. Repeat 3 times. press your left ring finger, left nostril, breathe in from right, and then exhale from the left, and release. Just as you breathe out, just imagine, feel the old attachment, its related emotion, blockages. You release it 3 times. Now breathe in from both nostrils. The breath goes down through the side channels and arrive at the junction. And as you begin to breathe out, the energy moves up through the central channel, clears the central channel. Imagine in your ignorance, doubt, or self-doubt, blockages in the central channel. Just imagine all clears 3 times. Just be aware all the 3 channels are more open, more clear. That means the central of your body, there's a more sense of openness. Just for a moment be aware of that. From that openness, we sing Guru Yoga. Within 3 channels and 5 chakras, I take refuge in this body of emptiness. So for a moment, you draw your attention inward. Be aware of the stillness of your body. Connect with that stillness. Rest in that stillness continuously. When you are aware the connection is lost, reconnect, continue. There's a big difference between just being still and being aware of that stillness. The moment you're stop being aware of that stillness, it's stop supporting your mind to ground. The moment you are aware of that stillness, it continues as helping the mind to settle. Just continue, connect in that stillness. Gradually be aware of inner stillness, the stillness beyond physical body, the stillness of your being, who you are. Gradually let go of this focus on the stillness in your body and be aware of that open stillness. In that inner stillness, there is unbounded sacred space. We take refuge in this body of emptiness. We take refuge in this body of unbounded space. Feel the sense of refuge internally. You are encountering the Buddha within. Just be aware that you are not alone. All the people around the world, as we're practicing together, sharing that unbounded sacred space, we are connected. Feel that same space. Oneness. Second refuge. Suffering and the misery are completely cleared by the wisdom wind, revealing the unelaborated primordially pure expanse of the sky. I take refuge in this body of light. Be aware of inner silence. Be aware of that collective silence. If it is hard to be aware of the silence, then listen to the silence. Hear the silence. Feel the silence. Rest and connect with that silence. As you're aware of more silence, less thoughts are there. As there's less thought, the more presence of awareness, a sense of feeling full, complete, clear now and here, knowing, sense of worth, worthiness, sense of perfectedness. I take refuge in this body of light. That awareness is the inner light. The less the noises are there, the more the silence is there. The more silence is there, more awareness is there. Last refuge. Resting in that stillness, being aware of unbounded space. Resting in that silence, being aware of that awareness, the luminosity, the light. In the union of that space and awareness, there is a presence of warmth, bliss. I take refuge in this body of great bliss as referring to that genuine warmth. Rest in that warmth, rest in that space, rest in that light, like a child resting in the loving arms of mother. You don't have to imagine only your mother. If you don't have that relationship, you can imagine mother who do have that kindness. You are that child. That inner sacred space is that mother. Rest fully with trust. Trust to that mother. Trust to that inner refuge. Trust to that unbounded sacred space. Trust to that unbounded sacred space or the body of emptiness. Through that trust, through that connection, feel the nourishment, feel the protection, feel the love, feel the joy, equanimity, compassion, confidence, or whatever quality is needed this moment in your life to you to clear obstacles, find solutions, guidance, your spiritual development. Trust that particular quality will merge in this connection through this trust. Just for a moment, rest like that child. Allow to nourish yourself. Gradually bring awareness into your body, and particularly place where you don't feel or you feel pain, blockages, sickness. Right in the center of that pain, bring that sacred space, the awareness of the space, to eliminate blockages and obstacles. Bring that sacred awareness, the light, to heal. Bring that warmth to heal. So this inner quality of refuge, being right in the center of that pain, allow this quality or these experiences to expand and work within that territory. So gradually you will feel the effect of it. Pain dissolving, going away, feeling okay. Not being bothered. Strengthening. Just continuously go right in the center there and be aware of the space, the light and the warmth. Okay. So I'm going to translate. So, yeah, so maybe I think so I'll just keep it here. Okay, so maybe this can go back there.
We have about more than consistently 700 computers watching at any given time from Canada, US, Mexico, Peru, Eastern, Western Europe, Russia, all over the place. And I know we have at least 8 translators in different countries around the world who are translating live right now with us. And maybe another.
Great.
dinner on the webcast June Nengi Tangi Yana Jingi that dinner paying that shadow Samalani subject issue.
So all the people who are attending this webcast, who are looking at us, who are listening at us, and all the people behind this little camera sitting here, welcome everybody.
Jidangi Mabuji Zojengi Tawa Zojen said the Donam Chembudan said he Kashin Chembu Mabuji.
So as there's a lot of people who are curious and interested in the Dzogchen teaching.
Zojengi Tawa Nyamlen Chene 즉 원래 타독이 미는데 타독 상징에서나다 이제 타독 나는 고왕 도비체들인데 얘나 체기이 즉 대지선나다 미지선나다 다른 신경이랑 신 이거는 편도를 되게 즉 따와 통부를
Generally, the purpose of Dzogchen teaching is to achieve full liberation or enlightenment, but also these great teaching help in our ordinary life to benefit, to help each other, also help each other.
아직 간제 먼저 마무지게 레발라 또 자리 포천복이 토야기 레발 유지스 얘나 딱 나와서 왜 내주기 소속이 미지기 제가 미지는 제와들의 편도 관리를 시도하는
So a practitioner generally look forward to achieving rainbow body through this practice, and but also I will speak a little bit about what its benefit in a very simple way in our life.
딱 조정지 배 치중 담바도서 나오나 나도 가서 제가 다다동 소와소동 다제 다동 Tenzin, Tenzin, lecция, lecton, sorce, sortons, dirigi, so
in the teaching talks about like whatever you're hearing it's being empty, whatever you are feeling it's empty, whatever you are seeing it's empty.
Tenzin, Tenzin.
Whatever you are thinking, it's empty.
Didi karisi boy. Achazoya, peti chebi kecha tratizo, traton, sama kikuchimaris.
So when the teaching, when we are teaching, you have to listen to it. It's not just think about it's empty. So it's important to practice, to hear it and practice.
텔레 심주지 텔레 양 땅에 다시 세워나 샘라 세당 칠칠 나자 칠칠 공부 칠칠 뭐도 펜도로 말이 뒤가서나 딱 자기 장신이 동바 대대에서는가 대대 동바 딱 대대지 동비 동바지 공토바나 아들 요모 세당 마부지 싫어
For practical examples, like if somebody said something mean or hurtful, so then you listening to that voice and trying to look at as empty. So just hear that voice itself is empty, the hearing itself is empty, and bringing some sense of spaciousness, some sense of quality in that hearing, then it will help you. But if you not hear that, if you elaborate what you're hearing, and if you elaborate with what all the things, your own personal things on it, then it gets worse and worse. So many experiences in our life, many people if people are getting divorced, because and also many families also are getting like very distant from each other, family members, and couples getting distance from each other. So all these things very often happens with very simple words of communication. Very simple words of communication with a lot of elaboration.
I'm sorry,
so if when you are not able to truly experience the emptiness of the speech, but at least feeling some space and able to apologize, will also having a strength to apologize. It's also a great healing. So from very simple lack of communication, or a few words, and a lot of elaboration, and in long enough time, then it becomes like a fire and the water. So then there's explosion, separation, divorces. So in those situations, like from the point of view of sutra, trying to see everything is like empty, from the point of view of tantra, to see everything as like an illusion, illusory, and from the dzogchen, to see everything else as a self-liberation, allowing and giving more space to what is happening. And so these are different ways in which a transformation can take place. So then, if you're able to remain in that space, there's a naturally more qualities, like a positive quality arises. The more you become more familiar with those positive quality, whatever the sound is there or voices are there, they dissipates, because they don't have any more power to continue. So like a hearing like a wind blowing in the backside of your ear, so you hear this sound, you would not be, nobody listens to it, and talks to it or argue with it. It's just a sound, just you leave it and you hear it, it goes away. Same way, whatever you hear in some time, so it's good to not to follow and elaborate so much, to giving more space to it, then it dissolves by itself. It's called self-liberation. Yeah, so this sense of Datartong means like a sound, sound empty, feeling empty, thought empty. That's how it comes. So the main purpose of Dzogchen is to overcome these our samsaric sufferings, the everyday sufferings. So when you are sitting in a nice cushion in a nice comfortable place and you feel like you have some experience, some realization, and when you walk into the everyday life, if you don't feel no shift, no change, your behavior, reaction is the same, that means the cushion did not help very much. So the main purpose is to really try to change the mind. So it's not just empty, but there's a fullness in that space, like a sky which is not just empty. There is a star, there is a sun, there is a moon, there's all the beauty of the nature. The same way that in the inner space there is a joy, there's a love, there's a compassion, there's equanimity, there's all these qualities are present there. It's important to recognize that in that space. So these experiences are called like a unification of the appearances and emptiness, or emptiness and wisdom, because the space is referring to our wisdom, the qualities which are present there, they are referring as appearance. So it's a union of space, emptiness and appearances, or union of emptiness and wisdom. It's like a bird not able to fly without two wings, cannot fly with only one wing. So it's like the appearance and emptiness both are important to understand. Important to understand both.
소소 미가서다 텔레 닝제 거바이나 다고 이거 최초.
So how's that? Oh yeah, so the in Mahayana, so it talks about the union of compassion and wisdom. So basically means that compassion which spontaneously arises from that space or from that wisdom. So, but also in an ordinary sense, in our own ordinary life, which is ordinary people, when you feel more space, there is more qualities like a feeling of compassion, kindness toward other people. So it's in a way, in a higher philosophically or in a very ordinary experience, they're very, very connected to each other.
잠비 심지 되장도스 아원에 지금 저랑서 8월 트라키 저랑서 미가서 근데 여바이나 엔디디 미가서들라 닝제도 잠바봄 가와 제바이나 랑쇼비 저랑서 토고 메시지 초조지.
So the Basharab said that the power of compassion will tame the enemy. So that means that when you feel compassion or when you feel kindness towards somebody, that is most effective. That it turns the other people towards you. And yeah. Oh yeah. So the kindness, the sense of the wisdom and compassion being union is how or why somebody would ever turn with attitude, with kindness towards somebody, because of not only they have a compassion, because they have a wisdom, because they have a space, because they have an openness. Therefore, they are able to have the infinite sense of compassion toward even people who are being hurting them or willing to hurt themselves, hurting them or something like that. So that space, wisdom plays an important role. Basharab, he was always challenged by the demon Chapa, and so when Basharab was resting in his wisdom and in his compassion, so that compassion was very attractive for demons. So demon was moved by the compassion of Basharab and bow and respect Basharab, and then begin to follow Basharab because of the power of compassion. So the union of compassion and wisdom is very important. So not only fell into sitting in a emptiness, to have the experiences of compassion, that's very important in these teachings.
semba mayuba, semba kandu yang mayuba, shedangi morang tenba, sem te korang wala tsulu chik, shike chik tebayna, rangshinji, dagi shedangi chik tsola, chakwa shiwa shudu wasu.
So the power of wisdom is like when, for example, when you feel like a strong anger, and if your power of wisdom is when you look inward and observe non-conceptually to that anger, the anger dissolves like ice when ice is hit by the sun. So it will dissolve. So once again is the when one feel anger and whatever caused the anger, and not to elaborate so much, because the anger is very much part of yourself. It's in you. It's yours. It doesn't matter what it caused, who it caused. It's very much part of and that particular, in the practice particularly, instead of using conceptual mind to analyze it, use non-conceptual mind to observe it. And that observation is the most powerful mean in the teaching of Dzogchen. So either it's a sutra, tantra, or Dzogchen, in the end, all the teachings, the true purpose of all the teaching is to free from three poisons: the ignorance, anger, and attachment, and to benefit, to have more compassion and benefit each other. So that's the purpose.
Negative emotion, some low kangal katsu na tidu, SMG mola shiki, Debaila, Rangshinji, Marki, Senji, Kazman, Tungal, and Yamu Shedan Sipumai, to Samatamje, Toyati, Ketin Chibus.
So any emotion, any pain, so if you're able to rest when it's happening, when you're able to rest in that awareness, all of them will dissolve.
Some loki jujo, Charles Kaisabay, so some logo that you got, and some of the Fiki that you can talk, not so Dramida surgeries, some look, some remember Dramida Mabu surgery, China, that are Tama Tamji, Jesu Majubi.
So even though during the practice you can see a lot of thoughts, feelings and emotions are coming, but you can see they are coming, you allow them to come, but if you still continuously trying to maintain the stability in that inner space, then gradually you will see these appearances have not so much power, and they will just begin to become more weaker and weaker and weaker, and your sense of presence and that awareness becoming stronger and stronger.
So the Tawati Longne, Dumba in Nandra, Chaksawa in the Karina, Tomatanji.
So, while being in that awareness, if you reciting the mantra, singing prayer, doing prostration, whatever you're doing, so there it's like a, we call like a, it's like a tsisi, means it's integrated with the Dzogchen practices. Like Ponlop was saying this morning about the mother who lost the child, able to walk, sing, walk, talk, eat, but in that feeling it's still strong presence. So it's like integrating with that awareness your conventional form of practices. So as it is a very profound teaching, it's also important to feel sense of trust, devotion, connection to these teachings. So when you do have sense of trust and devotion, then your eyes are more open to see the qualities what this teaching has to offer. But when you don't have that sense of trust and devotion, then you might not be able to see all the qualities I perfected here. It's like if you are in love with somebody, or if you are looking at your child, and then if you see your child or person you are in love with, you see the way this person walks, talks, thinks, eats, everything looks great. And if you don't like somebody, you're a famous person, and the way your famous person is terrible, the way famous person walks is terrible, the way your famous person sits is terrible, so everything is terrible. So even your famous person just gently smiles, you look at a criticism. So that does not mean that you don't use your intellect, analysis, trying to test what you're getting into. So you do those things, but once you feel you understand enough, you know what you're doing, then during the practice, then you have to stop doing those things. So the Sherab says that, like a good goldsmith testing the quality of gold, like you burn it, you put it in the water, you look at the color. Same way you can do the analysis as much as you need to do, but once you feel it's trustworthy, you feel this is what you wanted to do, then your own, how you say, neurotic mind should not influence the change of your mind. I said, I found it now I'm going to stick with it. So some ability, the strength to stick with it, it's important. Like a devotion, so for necessary devotion is sometimes, for example, like a feet to walk, eye to see, and no hand to hold, do.
Ice cream and bed tasty utility shabana and lapamena and color yoroching maris, bed dinner sinking, debati lapana sinche, and debati mewana, you're there some country jula,
so it's like not having a hand, not having devotion is not having a hand. If there is something, nice chocolate or ice cream or something like that on your lap or on the table, you cannot get it because you don't have the hand to get it. So same way, so devotion is, even there is qualities in the teaching, but you need to have a devotion to receive them. So devotion is also like the eyes. So if you don't have devotion, then you will not see the qualities in the other person. Or if you don't see the benefit of the view or meditation. So it says if you're doing anything with the devotion, you accomplish everything without any efforts. So in my experiences, when in the monastery we grew up, and down in the valley there's a little small river. In the summer when it's very, very hot, we used to go down to swim there, but to get there it's like more than a half mile. It's quite a long way to get down there and come back, but we don't feel any effort to go down there because we love to jump into the water. Come on, that's some channel. So any things that I'm saying here, if there's any questions all of you have here and everywhere. All the space beings. Yes.
In the teachings about anger and resolving it, in Western and psychotherapy particularly, sometimes the anger is leading you to set a boundary. So let's say you go every day to a place and the person hits you. It's good to let go of the anger, but it's also good not to go to the place anymore. Could you talk a little about the teachings of that, the other side, like what you need?
The good side of the anger.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, and what
the boundaries.
You know.
Yeah. Okay. So the question is that let's say anger it's important to get rid of anger, and it has negative impact, but also anger has the positive side, knows what not to do, or right, the boundaries that you realize through your anger. So you wanted to hear a little bit more that side of the anger.
And how you know?
How you know? Okay. The control jena ta jam jam michiki dung na and mitiki mitela tolana jam khochala ta anger de control de ya phe thogorwa jam ta o mitijala doji mere miti tukcha dus doji mere sam che and nyobja simese tandal jam the pemba chodi yores and the condes hakores jam control ge phe thogwa jam phe thogores
다 공도기 배나 길어 상조다 메조니르스 그때 양직다 배나 나들로라 그 세당 뭐 세당 하신 것 에서 맞을 것 같아서 그대지 상조기 맞을 상조기 세당 그 단단들에는 또 되게 펜바당 너바 가르치셔도 세당이 개발나 펜바요나 대가서 세당 되지 랑이 리미디기 배도자래 에티탈 만로 센도다 고 전속도 제 시방도 전속제 인체나야 셴버치로 프로텍트 오브 더 도스 송접지고래 찍라 에티야 데레체오나 내가 좀 말했어.
So we have to see maybe where the benefit is. You know, if you see with your anger, whatever you're discovering the boundary, if that boundary has more benefit than controlling anger, then I mean, in each moment you have to see how it helps you more. That might be a way to make a decision. Any other? Okay. Cyber people are quiet. Okay. 대발라 되거나 대발 제사게 유.
어디 단다 대발 제사는 무슨 소신이 따와. 소신이 따와. 공바 냠된 지금 딱 가리나 에너지 무슨 에너지 프로시를 드리나 공공 대발 제사죠. 다른 소신 따와는 따와는 대발. 이제도 딱이 따와는 가능도.
So like in these cases, like in a refuge, when we say I take refuge in the body of emptiness, you're devoting to that view. When I say I'm taking refuge in the body of light, in a sense you're taking devoting to that awareness. So devoting to that warmth. So you're trusting, recognizing that to the view, meditation, and the qualities.
We have a question from France. He says, what about when you have a feeling of anger and injustice when we have a disease, a chronic disease, as well as anger about disease in other people? So how to deal with this feeling of anger and injustice related to illness?
So lila naza tela kongro sana. I don't understand.
I'm not sure of the question, but how to deal with bring.
So how to deal with the anger toward your own sickness, pain,
and that of others, if somebody else is
of the others, yeah.
He's feeling anger and injustice, saying like, I have this illness, it feels unjust, and I have anger. Why am I having it? I mean, it seems that it's
Yeah. Yeah, so basically a question seems that if somebody is sick and somebody feels like I'm not supposed to get sick and so getting angry, why I've been eating the right thing, doing the right exercise, why I'm angry, so feeling that anger, how to justify that, right? How to deal with that. That means that the Karsore Tujin Sajudi Chedensa, Dedan Chedende, Namugo, Najimare, Samsam to Dungala Nana, and a Congress and a Karjan Narangat, Samaya, which it is. Congress had the middle.
소소기 남미기 첼남미기 레지 파차 제가 karmic 딜레지 인산도 소소고 소금체 근데 레자 코르크유 아니 불런도 코르크유 나마체레 근데 소금도 제토바나 다시당 땡마레스 디디 코메디시 그치.
So not to think only the causes for getting sick has something to do with only this lifestyle of this life, but as beyond that there's many other lives where there are all these karmic traces are there, so karmic debts we owe towards somebody, so it's kind of coming toward us, so just feeling that okay, this is my karmic purification, so this is I'm purifying something, I'm clearing something, I'm getting rid of something. So seeing that way, then you don't feel like angry so much, because you understand cause is something a little bit more than what usually people get angry about.
제 생각 중도 시라마제 대발로 게더 마보르스 대가 나시기 소소소게 다지 가츠지 할라마소와타나 나네 나타나 주도당 자왈람도 미도도 되게 용과데 되게 가서 loktachi 그 loktachi 배니가 침부시게 이제도 아주 내미기 레지 박자기 부전 속이 삼바지 말아서 부전지 되게 줘나 소소 고무 동지야 동지 부전지 되게나 또 나중에 말이야 소소 부전지 박자고 말도.
So it's a very good question. It's in a way it's also dangerous that sometime when one is getting sick and how you say the karmic condition of previous life karmas are coming back. For example, if you borrow $1,000, if you borrow from somebody, if that person is coming back to you and asking for it, it's like that. So you have to kind of pay back. So in a way, what you are going through, it's like a paying back what you owe. So it's like itself is a process of healing, and looking that way is important. For example, sometimes one might practice and practice the development of the practice might not as much as you expect, and you say, I've been practicing for the last 10 years, I have no development, so now I don't think these practices are working, I'm going to give it up. It happens, but that's very sad. Rather than seeing maybe the reason why I'm so slow, maybe I'm also going through my purification and previous lives things, or so in relation to the sickness is the same. Okay, another one.
They're waking up here. There's many questions.
They're waking up. Okay, a little slow. You have 5 more minutes to fully wake up.
Related to waking up, actually, Dmitry from Russia in St. Petersburg asked, what feelings are good for somebody to wake up with every morning?
With good question. Shoge nima ta kwashi ya langruwa. Ya langdu kanla feeling khande chona khande da uchin ya langna kharso re yagu yores ko rama shiuje dongdo chigdo.
Ni ya kechiburis anzola chika shoke langdu ti nima sharagus namnam gures wo sharagus. Didi ta soso ge ngolena diringi nima dilo nege lega yapuchi samjoche samloina positive samloina karina samjoche samlo tanko samlo mato mil leke to ta shedang kongro milango sambe diringi tamjaji je to na pe misigi pe chimburu pe jana larne konda nyaldu diringi lega ngenjo kariche ba tolosha sigurus 가리 상조 제반은 가와 검수를 랑두 다리 말은 계획이지.
So morning when you wake up, it's like a definition of morning is when the idea is when the sun rises, the light arises, so that you're trying to set your mood and prayer Say, may I be, be benefit to others, may I be joyful, may I be peaceful. So some sense of setting up some positive attitude toward the day, like the light of the sun in the morning. So that's a good attitude, because then that will affect your rest of your day. And same way, but then if you haven't asked the question yet, if you do ask the question, how do you go to sleep? With what kind of the way you go to sleep will be, all the things what my plan was, the good to do good, but some of plan did not work exactly. So something went wrong, but okay, may I, purify them, may I let go of them, may I, clear them, some sense of goodbye before you go to sleep in the night. That's a good attitude while going to sleep. Okay? Yeah.
Sometimes in business there are things that one has to do that aren't very pleasant. For example, if you have to terminate an employee from a company, how do you stay true to your practice when there are things that obviously are not going to bring joy to other people, but you have to do them anyhow?
Yeah. Tene karso lega pena la. Okay, sorry. So the question is like sometimes bad actions, like to let go of somebody, how you would do it, even something has to be done, so how you do it in a way, in the better way, right? Yeah. Lega na mi tengo na. Lega na mi. Ma tengo na da kongdo sagro mi. Ina ma tengo nang dero da. Mo kan jo. That's very difficult. So enough communication, clarification, reason why that's supposed to happen. If there's enough communication there, and enough communication in a sense that the other person will somehow understand as much as possible to understand, that might help. Okay? One last one. Yes.
Someone is asking, it's regarding devotion. What do I do if my root lama, for whom I have much devotion, has died? So the root lama has died.
So the thing is, okay. So the question is that devotion to the master. So if my root master has just died, so the question is, what to do? So first of all, devotion has nothing to do with being alive or dead, right? So that, I think, is very important to understand. In a way, sometimes it's easier to maintain devotion when the Lama is dead. So I think, who's asking the question? Okay, anyway, whoever is asking the question, I think you're a very lucky person. You managed to have that much devotion to your master and still trying to have a devotion in the moment of passed away. Now you succeeded. You made it. Okay, so I think that's all. So, any announcements you want to make? Next. Okay, so yeah, so I think we're going to conclude. We'll do the dedication here, and I wanted to thank very much all the translators. I know, like, you are volunteering your time, and I know that all your effort, how much beneficial it is. Everybody who's hearing in that language, you can just see all these people are very thankful of your translation and appreciative. And I personally, on behalf of all those people, we appreciate each one of you who are doing the translation. And as we all know that, it seems like there are moments I get very excited about this internet thing, and then there are moments I get slow, like everything, like everything else in life. But I still feel that this is the future. This is the way. This is the future, and we needed to keep more connection with each other through this means, through this space, through the cyber space, with cyber sangha. Yeah.
On December 14, that is the next full day live webcast.
So December 14th, it will be full day live webcast. They can go to all of you can go to ligmincha.org, and if it's very beneficial to each one of you who are listening to this teaching this very moment, I am sure many other of your friends that you know who will very much benefit from this. Then I think it's your a little step of action to take to let those people know. So that is, each of you can do that part of your part of work. Everybody who's listening to do that step to help your friends and help us to reach more, to benefit more people. So I would like every individual who's listening to take little support here, to support us and support your friends, to let them know. So we look forward to seeing you that time. Thank you. Done through the three worlds. Having purified all afflictions and obscuration of three poisons, may lie swiftly shift in complete bodhihood of the three bodies. Chame sola deje daba Sanyando Great confidence in three refugees. May my experience in the realization of in purifying three poison, may I obtain three bodies. In liberating my own being, may I benefit others. Thank you, everybody in space.